Welcome back to another predictions video. I'm just going to put up the Trends Digest here because I ran a poll asking what market I should cover for this video, and as you can see, BTTS or over 2.5 goals. So what I'm going to do is going to create a quick filter for this video that uses some of the new rules that were added to filters earlier in the week. I'll show you some of those rules now as we build this filter. And as I'm doing this, remember to get your comments in. Every comment is an automatic entry into the draw to win Odd Alerts Pro. And I'm just going to put up on screen right now the winner from the previous video. So well done to you. I will be in touch after I've finished recording this video, and we will get you set up for this weekend. So I've just put here that the home team has scored in 80% of games or more. And then we're going to lean on the probability model for an away goal. And we will say 70%, quite high. Let's see what we get, 70%. Now I will show you the rules that were added earlier in the week. So all of these rules that you see here under offsides against are new. So total shots on average per game, shots on target, shots for, shots on target for, shots faced, shots on target against, and then dangerous attacks as well. So the one we're going to use in this example, if we're looking at BTTS and over 2.5 goals, is shots on target for. I want to qualify that both of these teams have at least, should we say, 4.5 shots on target per game on average. So we save that for both teams. This is quite a basic filter, but it's going to clear out a lot of games. Leaning on the probability model is certainly going to cut out a lot of games, and we'll actually sort by that value as well. So let's hit search, see what we get for Friday on the day I'm recording this. PSG. I wanted to cover PSG. We've got Bayern Munich as well. Brighton under 21s. Got some good games here, haven't we? St. Pauli lost just once all season. We can see here 82% in terms of scoring at home and scoring away for Schalke and St. Pauli. Premier League, Qatar. There's some good games in that league for sure. Let's have a look at the league stats for that one. So 3.59 goals per game in the Qatari Premier League. So a nice short list, a nice set of fixtures here. And remember, it is now sorted by the likelihood that the away team will score. So we've got PSG and Bayern Munich at the top of the pile for Friday. Let's take a look at some of these games. But what I'm going to do first is load in the next 5 days. You can do that by clicking the calendar icon and then clicking next 5 days. It will remember all of the rules. It will remember all of the sorting options as well. So we now have a very, very tasty game in the Championship. Plymouth Argyle, very, very strong home team in terms of scoring goals anyway. And we can see there again on the right side there, the stat scroller, 82% in terms of scoring at home and scoring away. Ipswich had a bit of a stumble, didn't they, where they sort of couldn't score. It dried up a little bit, but I think they are back in the groove at the minute. We will start, though, in France on Friday, 8 p.m, PSG, third hosting first. And this is an interesting one because I believe that you don't get this often. You don't get PSG at over evens, and I think you probably should just take it. That's my opinion, and it might be based on, you know, a little bit of bias. I'm not a PSG fan or anything, but just knowing football and knowing French football and most football fans, PSG are just the best team in the league, aren't they? They might stumble their way to titles sometimes. They drew the last game. They've drawn 3 games since the start of October, but they're still unbeaten. They've still lost just once. They're unbeaten away from home. Monaco recently at home have not been great. No victory in 4, but the one thing I will say about Monaco is that they're still scoring goals. They've scored 3 goals in 2 out of the last 3. BTTS has landed in the last 7 games, so it could be an exciting game, this one. But if a game is open, that just points me more in the direction of PSG, given the players that they've got and the way that they can hurt teams. It doesn't seem like it really suits Monaco for a game to be open and high scoring. If they're against a lesser opposition, yeah, sure, they can win. But PSG, you really don't want to play that kind of game against PSG. But what do you think? I mean, when I see teams like PSG at over evens, it always makes me investigate a little bit more, dig a little bit deeper, and certainly think about taking it, because it's the same with Chelsea women. You know, most of the games they play, they're like 1.3, 1.4 or something. So then a few times a year, they'll come up against, I think it was Man United women or Man City women, and they're evens to win a game. And it's such a jump, and they are still probably the better team, the best team in the Women's Super League. So yeah, when you see a team like that over evens, I think it's worth taking it. In terms of the probability model, Odd Alerts actually has them at 54%, which is 1.83 implied odds. So evens is actually a value bet. You're actually getting value there based on the Odd Alerts probability model. So that is the first game, PSG. Let me know what you think. As always, a comment equals an entry into a draw to win Odd Alerts Pro. That was a mouthful. Get your comments in. Let us know what predictions you are on for this weekend. I like to put doubles together. So if you can look at these games and look at some games that you know in your country or whatever, put a double together, get it in the comments, and hopefully we can all win together. On to the Championship then. This is a Saturday game, 3 p.m. kickoff. This is a cracking fixture. Both of these teams came up from the Championship. Plymouth 15th, they'll be more than happy with that. Stop the count right now, Plymouth fans will be saying. 4 goals on average when they play at home. They are scoring 2.24 of those goals. And Ipswich 1.41. I just want to check Ipswich results because they did have a spell recently, and this is the spell I'm thinking of, the Christmas period. Just one victory, but you can see they have come back strong. 4-2, 4-3 in terms of the goals scored. Away from home, they've won the last couple. This is going to be a good game, isn't it? Because Plymouth, even in League One, they were just smashing teams. They were scoring for fun, and they still are. 0-0, no game has ended 0-0 at home. 18% for both of these teams in terms of failing to score. I think one thing that is a guarantee, I mean, there's no guarantees obviously, but we're going to see goals is what I'm trying to say in this one. Let's have a look at the probability model and see what it's saying here. 57% for over 2.5 goals. We'll do a AI fixture simulation for this one, and it's given us a 2-1 Ipswich victory. So BTTS, out of all these simulations, 2-1 was the most common scoreline with 14.72%, 1.24 home goals compared to 1.85 away goals. So let's take a look at the odds for this one. BTTS would be my pick, and 1.59 is the peak with Betfair. Now this is probably one that you want to put on a double. Maybe you make a Saturday double, Bayern Munich and BTTS. I've not checked the Bayern Munich odds, but they're in a bit of a stumble, aren't they, Bayern Munich? We'll go on to Bayern Munich next after taking a look at over 2.5 goals here. So over 2.5 goals, 1.53. So it's very similar. I would actually prefer BTTS here, given how strong Plymouth are in terms of scoring goals at home. I think BTTS, for me, offers more value because you only need 2 goals compared to 3 with over 2.5 goals. Do you think Ipswich are going to go there and win 3-0 or 4-0? Because that's what you would need to happen. I think Plymouth, once they get to the end of the season, they might start playing with a bit more freedom as well, because once they realise the safety, once they realise that they're not going to get dragged into that relegation scrap, then I think they'll start to play with even more freedom than they already do at home. They're a great team to watch at home. Got some really exciting players and wingers as well. So my prediction for this one is BTTS yes, and that's going to get me 1.73 points. Now I'm just checking the rankings going into the final couple of days, and Antonis, wow, he is on a 11-game winning streak. He's got 1 prediction left to make. He's won 23 out of his 27, 38 points. Look how close it is with him and Julie. And Julie is on a 6-game winning streak as well. Look at the points per game difference. 1.14 for Antonis, who is going for more bankers, you would say, just based on the points per game. You can click the eye icon to view their predictions as well. Julie on a 6-game streak, but with a 2.56 points per game. So she has won 12 of her 15. So she's got some predictions left to make as well. So it should be an interesting finish. Who is going to win that $12.99 credit? Check in on the next video to find out. So an away victory for PSG and BTTS for that Plymouth Ipswich game. What about Bayern Munich? They are away from home at Freiburg. The pressure is on. I think it's a little bit strange, isn't it, that they've already announced that Tuchel's basically been sacked, but it's a delayed sacking. We're going to let you go, but it's going to be at the end of the season. Now, away from home, they come into this having conceded 6 goals in the last 2 games. Dreadful in terms of what is expected of Bayern Munich. Of course, one of those games, 3-0 at Leverkusen, who are now, is it 11 points clear? And we can see here that they are expected to win this game. They're still one of the best teams in the Bundesliga. They just so happen to be the second best team this season. For Freiburg, they had a great season last year, didn't they? At home, they are much, much better. Their away form must be terrible. It is. At home, they've scored in all but one game, and they will fancy their chances. I think one of the things that happens as well with Bayern Munich, especially this season, just think about the Bundesliga over the last 10, 11 years, when Bayern Munich have won it every year. The other teams will be thanking Leverkusen for wounding this beast of Bayern Munich, right? So now when Bayern Munich come to town, I think it just gives these teams a little bit of an extra edge. They want to inflict some pain this season on Bayern Munich. So could BTTS happen here? Well, if we look at the away form for Bayern Munich, they have conceded in each of the last 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And they've conceded 2 or more in 4 of the last 5 games. They conceded 5 at Frankfurt. What is going on? They thought Eric Dyer was the solution. Obviously not. The form isn't great. When you look at the overall form there, it is not great. There's no way around that. They have not won a game in 5. They've won 1 in the last 8, spanning to the middle of December. So we'll take a look at the odds for BTTS. They're usually a little bit higher than the average for the Bundesliga when Bayern Munich are involved. 1.69 is the peak. Again, this could be one that you pair as a double, because I do think this Bayern Munich team is vulnerable at the moment. And Freiburg, they did have a very good season last year. Let's have a look at the head-to-head. What was the previous result? So it was a 3-0 victory in October, 1-0 victory, and then a 2-1, a 5-0. So Freiburg do have a victory in recent times, but as you would expect, Bayern Munich dominating this fixture in recent times. And you wouldn't necessarily bet against Bayern Munich to win this game, but they've been making hard work of those victories in recent times. So for this one, I'm actually going to go with an away win, 1.89. I do think they'll get the job done. That doesn't mean I don't think BTTS will happen, but I could see Freiburg scoring and then Bayern Munich bringing it back as they've done in recent weeks. And I'll also, for this one, set an alert for the goals. And we are going to set an alert here for BTTS. Let me know if it hits evens. And for over 2.5 goals, let me also know if it hits evens, because one thing with Bayern Munich in recent times is late goals as well. So back to Saturday, and we've got some National League games here. And remember, we are filtering on the probability model for away goals. I think we put 70%, didn't we? And we've got Weymouth Torquay. Now, Torquay, it's not been the best of times, has it, for Torquay in recent years? They're 11th now in the Vanarama National League South. But the probability model is giving them a decent chance of scoring in this game. And what made me click on it is the fact that Weymouth have scored in 94% of their games as well. They're averaging 1.72 goals per game. They've also conceded 1.94. So whilst they are 17th, goal scoring doesn't seem to be the issue. And if we look at their home form, we can confirm that. They've not lost too many games, but they are conceding goals, aren't they? They've conceded 3, 4, 4, and then 3 in the last 4 games. Over 2.5 goals in the last 6 games played. Let's take a look at the odds for this one. What do you reckon? I reckon they're about 1.4 for over 2.5 goals. It might be an alert, this one. 1.68, that is pretty decent. 1.65 with Bet365. Again, these are where you create your doubles. I think 1.68 and then you find another 1.55 or a 1.7 or something. We've looked at a few already. As always, let us know in the comments which of these lines would you pair together. You can create more than one double, of course. There's nothing more frustrating for me when people, and they don't mean any harm in doing it, they'll reply on X, Twitter or Discord or something saying, oh, I use the trends page, I use the filters, and this tenfold was only one team let it down. And I'm like, oh, that's good, but just split up your bets, please. Just get into the habit of betting no more than doubles, and you will win more bets. I guarantee it, compared to betting on 10-folds or 8-folds, 12-folds. I'm going to launch something soon on the website. I'm going to launch something that I think will help, I hope will help people, and it's just going to be a simple odds to probability converter, because if you actually convert the odds of, let's say you put a bet on it, it's 150 to 1. If you actually convert that to probability, you wouldn't put it on. You just wouldn't put it on. But people, you know, they chase the high odds, they chase the money. So let's have a look what I can add as my prediction for this one. Over 2.5 goals, 1.59. BTTS, 1.6. I'm going to go over 2.5 goals, 1.59 for this one on the Odd Alerts Predictions game. Sticking with Saturday and another game at 3 p.m, Brentford-Chelsea. This is a London derby, isn't it? Not the fiercest of derbies or rivalries at all, to be honest. 1.69 goals per game for both of these teams. Brentford conceding more. Chelsea are a strange animal this year, aren't they? I mean, for possession, for I did not expect to see that. Wow. Brentford fans, what are you thinking when you see that? It's crazy, isn't it? I mean, that is absolutely dreadful form. Is that relegation form? Only time will tell. They're 16th. I just think Brentford are a little bit lucky this year. They're unlucky in the injuries that they've had. And when you watch some of those games, they're conceding goals to defensive errors. Players that you would expect to, be better than that. Players like Nathan Collins, who I still think will be a very, very good Premier League defender in the future, but he's not having a great time. Henry on the left back being out all season, he's a big loss. And I just think that form is dreadful. There's no way around that. That form is dreadful. At home, they are at least scoring goals against Liverpool, against City, against Villa. It's an interesting game, this. Chelsea come into this having played in the FA Cup. This is just showing Premier League games, but they obviously played in the Carabao Cup final, 120 minutes, against Liverpool. And then they played in the FA Cup. Brentford have had a whole week to prepare. And Thomas Frank, against the bigger teams, he seems to have a different plan. I've mentioned this a few times this season, but I think it's true. Now, they've lost against Liverpool and they've lost against Man City there, to be fair, but they've scored against them. I just think defensively they're not good enough this year, Brentford. I know it's the obvious thing to say looking at that form. So if we look at the odds for BTTS, 1.42, the confidence in BTTS from the bookies is quite high. I do agree with it. I think Brentford will score. I'm going to leave this game. I just don't trust Chelsea. I think is where I'm going with this. So in terms of actual bets, I would personally skip this game. For the predictions game, I'm going to go with something a bit of a outlier. I'm going to go with a home win for Brentford, because I think there is those couple of games for Chelsea, the FA Cup, the Carabao Cup final, and Brentford, I know it's really poor to just say they're due a big performance, but they kind of are, aren't they? And they are capable of scoring at home if they can shore up that defence. So yeah, my prediction is a home win for Brentford. And as I said, in terms of actual betting, I would skip that one. Just too unpredictable for me, that game, given Chelsea. I just can't trust Chelsea, I think, is the ultimate takeaway from that segment. Okay, so what we're going to do now as well is I'm just going to create another quick filter just to show you how you can find value bets here. There's obviously a value bets page where you can adjust your settings and stuff like that. But if you were just looking to find value bets and also include other quick filter rules, you can do that here, because you can add the probability. So for over 2.5 goals, if we say 65% or more, that is implied odds of 1.5, isn't it? So then we can look at the odds here and we can say over 2.5 goals, 1.6, right? 1.6 or higher. You can go 1.8, 1.9 if you want, and then we'll save the rule, and that's all you need. But the beauty of quick filters is that you can then add in qualifying rules as well. So you could say both teams have scored in 8 of the last 10 games, and we can save that for both teams and search as well. And we get one game here from Friday, and we will do next 5 days. And we get a game from the Bundesliga, the under-19s Bundesliga. So we'll take a look at this one. What are the odds for this? Over under 1.6 exactly. So a marginal value bet, but a value bet no less. So if we go to the value bets page, I'll just show you how that works as well. You can look at the over 2.5 goals here, and you'll see the probability here, 1.7, and then the actual odds at that moment and the bookmaker. So Pinnacle offering 1.89 for this Korean game, and then you can scroll down and you can just see them. You can instantly add them to your bet tracking on odd alerts as well. And finally, I'll just show you something else that launched. If you didn't watch the previous video, you might have missed it. You can now see all your predictions here on the home page. So this will show you your bet tracking as well. You can create your own bank rolls on odd alerts and have automatic settlement, and they'll all appear here, so you can just see all of your predictions. You can open a game, and you can see that Motherwell Celtic from the last predictions video, 3-1, and Ajax failing to score as well from the previous prediction, failing to score for the first time in a long time. This is something I can maybe add to these predictions videos. Now that this is here, it makes it easier to just go back in and look at the previous predictions. So we will end the video by taking a look at some trends, and you can use the trends I find as well for doubles. Obviously, always dig deeper into the games, but it gives you a nice indication of the odds, really easy. And if you wanted to set an alert on any of these games, so let's say Man United under 21s, Friday night tonight, 1.25, it's happened in 7 out of 7. We can click on it and see who they're playing. So they're playing a team that scored less than a goal per game on average. So you're relying potentially on Man United scoring all the goals. They've scored 3.57. And you can set an alert and say, well, just tell me if there's a 20% increase, and then I will go in and check the game. An alert does not always equal a bet, of course. Now we've got a game here as well on Saturday, 2 p.m, 10 out of 10, 1.44. We'll take a look at this. Again, the away team has scored 0.78 goals per game, so that's not one that I would take. The under 21 games, they're a different breed, honestly. The English under 21 leagues are just phenomenal, I find. TNS always goals in their games, but again, the away team a little bit better, 0.92. So you'll all have your own stats and things, and you put different weights on different stats as you get more comfortable with putting these bets on and ultimately winning more bets. Partick Thistle here, 11 out of 12. This one looks decent. Let's end with this game from the Scottish Championship on Saturday the 2nd. We'll take a look at the probability model first, and for 1.5 goals, 78%. So what I'll do as well, I don't think I've ever done this on a video, but I actually do like setting alerts for over 1.5 goals. 1.22. Let me know if it hits 1.5, and I'll go in and check that. But as we saw, the probability model is expecting 1.5 goals in this game, and we can just take a look at the goals for this. Partick Thistle against Dundee. It is third against first. 12 games played at home and away, and Dundee winning 75% of games. But this home team is clearly quite good. 1.92 goals scored per game, but they're also conceding 1.75. So as the poll suggested at the start, the intention for this video was BTTS, and we can see Partick Thistle, they've dropped, haven't they, in recent weeks. No win in 5, but BTTS landing in every single one of those games. Will they shore it up? I don't know. They've conceded 7 goals in the last 3 games. Now, away from home, Dundee come into this having lost to second place Raith Rovers. Now they're playing third placed Partick Thistle. Will this run continue? They are a fantastic away team. That was the first defeat all season. The head-to-head was a 3-0 win for Dundee back in December, then a 5-0 win also in 2023. They played 3 times, 2 wins for Dundee United, 8 goals combined, 9 goals in total, and 1 victory in July of 2023 for Partick Thistle. So in terms of my prediction for this one, I'm going to go with BTTS 1.77. It's the same for over 2.5 goals, so I'll save that. So we don't need 3 goals, we just need 2, but we need them to be in the right order, or at least in the right goals. And we can check the odds here. 1.77, 1.68 is the best you'll get, 1.67. So that could be one to add to a double as well. We will leave it there. Thank you as ever for all of the comments, all of the support in recent weeks. Get your comments in. There was a comment on the last video as well, which was interesting, because the comment was basically like, just show us a bet slip. Just give us a bet slip. That's all we want. Stop talking. And you know, the ironic thing was that was on the BTTS first half's video that launched a couple of days ago, or a few days ago. And then in that video, we created a quick filter. And I was talking about how you can lower the risk of BTTS first half by setting alerts for first half goals, betting on first half goals. And that quick filter that we made, the first day, there was 5 games. Every single game saw a first half goal. The game that I actually talked about and previewed was 1-1 at half time, the Sheffield Wednesday under 21s. And I don't mention this to boast, I just mention it because that person commented without even watching the video. And it's just a sign of the times, you know, people have dwindling attention spans and appetite to learn. And, you know, there's no shortcut. I'm not going to spoon feed you because I actually respect you too much. I respect you more than the content creators that will just spoon feed you predictions. Why would you just turn up somewhere to be spoon fed when you don't know where they're getting the food, you don't know why they're feeding you? That's the way you've got to think about it. You should be able to do this yourself. I'm trying to make you become your own tipster. So I'll leave you with that. Thanks as always for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. Get a comment in, let us know your predictions for this weekend, and I'll see you in the next one.